All right. We are about ready to get started, everybody. Just hold your horses. All right. Just a moment, just checking the chats and everything, getting everything up and running, and we'll be off to the races. Okay, let's jump right on in. Here we are. Well, guess what? Today on My Business World Live, I am your sole host. Brandon, as we speak, is actually on the we've got workshops we do typically about quarterly. We've got a live workshop that's happening right now. Of course, it's remote and virtual, as pretty much all of life still is for the most part. And so he's on Zoom working through that 2-day workshop that we have and jamming along, hoping no one Zoom bombs him and whatever other things are going on right now. So, and the topic is maximizing mental capital. So, we'll talk a little bit about that today, but basically, wanted to go through a few things to kick off the show and just hope everybody's week went well. Hopefully you're continuing to survive, and let you know a couple announcements, things that are going on, and things to be aware of. So first of all, just a couple of announcements. We've got a management course that is being released for managers. So whether you have managers or you are a manager yourself, if you go to newworkrevolution.com, you'll probably see a banner at the top that will talk about the management course, or you could go to services and other things, our courses, and you'll check it out. And is being released next week. So right now there is a pre-sale, pre-launch going on. So if you are a manager or have managers and really want to step up their skill set to the next level, I definitely worth checking out. I definitely recommend it. And so we're pretty excited about that and some things that are coming along with that we will keep everybody in the loop on. So that's the first point that we want to just kind of connect on. And then another point is this. In fact, I'm going to jump right into the book recommendation of the week. For today's book recommendation, it is one that I may have mentioned prior. This is a book that was released this week. It is called Fix This Next by Mike Michalowicz. So if you're familiar with some of his other works like Profit First or Pumpkin Plan or Clockwork, a couple of those books. His latest one called Fix This Next. And as the title describes, it is about discovering and understanding exactly what you need to fix next in your business. And it's a fantastic book. We not only are we recommending it, but we have an ulterior motive here because I was interested in the concept so much that we actually partnered with them to become what they call a founding fixer. So essentially, it's some of the initial, more in-depth training and things like that to certify with them and kind of bring that concept into some of the other coaching that we do. Now, we don't exclusively coach based on that principle, but we're able to tie it in with a lot of the things we do around total experience design. And it's a very powerful, very simple, and that's actually probably what sold me the most, is the concepts are super simple. It doesn't make them easy by any stretch, but it breaks it down to be very simple, to understand the complexities of business, and when we're overwhelmed, to just break it down to this is the area you need to focus on next. And that was just fantastic to me. Just that high level idea was brilliant. But the book is great. Highly recommended. It was released on Tuesday, I believe. Fix This Next by Mike Michalowicz. In fact, because we're partnered up with them, founding fixers or whatever we're called. If my headphones will reach, be able to get over there. We've got this sweet little hat they gave me. Kind of almost fits over my headphones, as well as this lovely little wrench. So here to fix your business. But pretty excited about it because it is pretty slick stuff. So I definitely recommend checking out that book for this week's recommendation, since it was just released, and we are doing that. So if you are a client of ours, it's definitely worth asking us about already. If we don't bring it up, is to explore that analysis for you, along with the other work that we might be doing. And if you're interested in it, or doing an analysis, definitely check it out. You can actually check out our site, kind of dedicated to it a little bit, called RecodeStrategy.com. Recode Strategy, again, is it's the idea of we're going to recode your strategy. It's time to understand what you need to fix next. So RecodeStrategy.com, kind of dedicated to that space. There's a little bit of it on our site as well at NewWorkRevolution.com. Check it out. Let us know. Let's connect, talk a little bit about that and how Total Experience Design can help you fix whatever you need to fix next. So that is the other announcement I wanted to make, as well as kind of combined with my book recommendation for the week. Let me just pull up some of the other details here. Okay. So next, a couple of things. This week, the jam continues. Hopefully people are starting to find a groove. Hopefully you're finding a groove in your business. We have heard from a lot of business owners that it's actually panning out. I don't know, how to essentially put it, but in a lot of cases there was a lot of fear of the unknown, and now things are starting to become known. So I think that alone is giving comfort, right? It's understanding, okay, this is kind of the process, and even starting to come out of quarantine in certain areas in certain ways. But we're getting used to it a little bit, and the unknowns are showing themselves a bit more, and it's now trying to find that new norm. So if your business hasn't been drastically impacted already, many business owners are reporting that it hasn't been as bad as they thought it would be. Not to say that everyone hasn't taken a hit in some regard. The overall economy is down significantly, and that was in Q1, with basically only March to show for the crisis and situation. So Q2 is likely to be down way more, as all of Q2 will be within quarantine and the dealing with the issues. So this is a very significant contraction of the economy. Now, it's interesting because it's not business cycle related, or at least not as directly. I mean, we were kind of overdue in a lot of ways. There was definitely some inflationary, pricing and things going on across the board in a pretty significant way, and we're kind of overdue for some sort of correction. But to be forced into the correction in this way is interesting. I'm curious to see what the long-term impact will be, as well as what the bounce back might look like. I have hope that it will be a strong bounce back, maybe even quicker than normal, because it is kind of outside of typical business cycle, like financial decision making and other things like that. Like it's this freaky, we're all in quarantine and can't spend money or whatever it is. It's such a different scenario, and I don't want to say unique and like we couldn't plan for it. In a lot of ways we could have, but we obviously have never experienced something like this to even think about it. So regardless, it'll be very interesting to see what the bounce back impacts are for businesses across the United States and across the world. I mean, that's the other amazing thing is this is a worldwide pandemic and situation. Many reports are showing that it may not even be as bad as we all thought, but they're just saying, well, that's because of X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of back and forth on a lot of these factors, and I definitely don't need to get into the politics of if we overreacted, underreacted, or otherwise. But what I am interested in is what it's going to take to get the economy back on track in a responsible manner, and what we can do as business owners to kind of aid in that process. And so yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. And what came across my desk on top of all that, what came across my desk today was actually in an email newsletter from a friend of mine, Shane Snow. If you're familiar with him, he's the author of Dream Teams, which is a fantastic book about on culture and team building and things of that nature, among a couple other books. And anyway, he shared in an email newsletter here some survey results that he had come across and kind of wrote an article regarding. And basically, let's see here. Let me get this straight. So there was a consulting firm that was asking senior executives at big companies, 50 million plus, or bigger-ish companies, I should say, companies around the world, how confident they were about their leaders' abilities to handle disruption. So how confident are you in your leaders, if you have managers and leaders under you or that you work with, or are a leader yourself, but how confident are you in being able to manage disruption? Now, this was them saying confidence levels about others, not them about themselves. And we do tend to overrate ourselves a little bit in these types of scenarios. But basically, they said only 15%, 15% of these executives were confident that their leaders could manage unexpected events like pandemics, shifting technology, or climate change. So not a good thing, 15%. I mean, that's definitely not a high confidence level, especially for our own leaders that we work with and everything else. But the reasons that they cited are also some of the more fascinating ones. And those two reasons, and these are so like human nature, which I guess they should be. But the two biggest reasons that were cited for this lack of confidence was resistance to change and lack of vision. So, why are those two things? Why do they give us lack of confidence? Resistance to change is always difficult, and especially around unknowns. Like human nature is to really fear the unknown and to resist change, regardless. Even if sometimes we're in a bad situation and the change will be a good thing, we still somehow resist it. Typically because of the unknown factors, because we don't know exactly what the change will be. We're in a bad situation. We need to change. But we don't know it's on the other side, and we're familiar with this side of the coin. I mean, it's kind of like prisoners that are finally released, and they struggle to have their freedom back and end up going back to prison. And frequently it's because of that, because there's just too many variables on the other side, and they got very used to the process, and they knew what to expect, behind bars. And that's unfortunately a component of human nature in general, especially if we've been in kind of a rut or the same groove for a long time. So, the economy has been strong for over a decade, essentially. And that's a hefty amount of time. A lot of people just are used to it kind of going a certain direction, or business to be processing in a certain way. And some of us are trying to get out of those ruts, if we know we're in a rut and we don't like it. But regardless, we're used to it. And so getting anything outside of that, especially forced upon us, we're going to struggle. And that's a reality that for most people. I've often said, at least for myself, there's been so much chaos in my career in life and business, and not saying that in some sort of strong, good way, but my only constant is change. So that's just a reality that some of us deal with. And as entrepreneurs, that may be the case for a lot of you, is that your only constant is change. There's always a battle around the corner, and you're up and down and sideways and roller coastering through the adventure. But your team and other leaders, that's likely not the case. I mean, they have been kind of jamming along, doing their thing, and all of a sudden, it's different. And so that uncertainty and resistance to change definitely will hold us back, especially when the economic climate is forced upon us in a way that we've got to reanalyze it. It doesn't mean we go do crazy, drastic things and fly by the seat of our pants, overreact, essentially. But we definitely need to open our eyes, be very present to the situation, and reorganize and reanalyze what to do next. And that comes to that next piece, which is lack of vision. With so much change about, we need to do things to find our vision and to find the new vision, or how these changes might be incorporated into our new future, whatever that is. So it's something that there are opportunities every time something like this happens. There are great opportunities to serve the communities we live in and worldwide in new ways. New things are needed now than were prior and will be, whether it be knowledge and understanding, so through teaching and training, or specific products, or you name it. There are a lot of things that are going to be shifting gears. Maybe you've never done remote work, but from here on, remote work is likely to be a little bit bigger topic. I think it really got to push forward in possibilities where people will for probably years to come, take a lot longer look at, do I really need to have everybody in the office, and thinking through that, and the ability to do that remote work. Is kind of a new demand. The demand will be increased such that there'll be lots of new opportunity, among other things. So some things to think about is just get clear on that and understand that, we need to open our eyes and not have that lack of vision when circumstances change. It is a time to reanalyze. I did a podcast this week for Accomplish.com, one of our productivity-focused sites here. And in that podcast, I really focused on that was 3 key things to keep us kind of agile in our vision and in our focus, to be able to keep moving, not overreact, but at the same time not hide behind the new realities, or the fact that everything is kind of changed for us, and be upset by that. It's just, what can we do, the strategies we can take. I encourage you to go check that out. But regardless, it is about weekly, if not daily, kind of reviewing the direction that things are going and new opportunities that come about, and brainstorming how you can take advantage of new opportunities. What can you do now that will up the game for the business that maybe you couldn't do before? Just really kind of get that blank canvas out and brainstorm a little bit, and then prepare your week and your month, and goals and targets and everything else around those new opportunities. So 2 big challenges, resisting to change. We all struggle with that a little bit, and then lack of vision, and making sure our eyes are open and we're ready to be agile and take advantage of opportunities as they come. 2 big pieces. And really, to tie all of that in, especially with a team that is struggling to change in general, we really got to be able to sell that story. And that's one of the point that Shane kind of makes in this article as well, is let's share that, sell the story to our teams and to others. We can connect on story and understanding this is the situation. There are great opportunities. We can serve others. Look what happened here, very specific things. And we can really lead in a time of crisis when we can really connect with people on that level and sell that story and understand the story ourselves. It's a lot easier to be passionate about the story that we're in and that we're writing than it is about the cold hard facts, even though those support the story, and that's the whole point. So regardless, those are a couple of things that I just wanted to mention today and connect on. Let me just check one more time, see what we've got. There are others going on. Okay. Excellent. So today's show, that really, it's going to be short and sweet because of our limited situation, and I'm going to be jumping right back into that Zoom meeting and that workshop and be able to get back to that craziness as we continue forward. But I did want to leave everyone with those points. If you're able to watch this live, great. If not, if in the recording, fantastic as well. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think, what your thoughts are. If you decide to pick up the book or take advantage of the management training, we'd love to hear from you and be able to hook you up with some additional support on some of those levels. So take a look at those things. Let us know how we can help. And for My Business World Live, New Work Revolution, this is Billy Bush signing off for the day. Thank you very much.